Ever wanted to find out what's the number one trait you need to become successful? We hear about these great stories from Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. At times, we might even try to imitate them, hoping that if we do that, we too will be successful. So, is there such a thing? What is it that they all have in common that makes them successful? If we can figure this out, we might be able to avoid failure altogether. If we can figure out what this trait is, we might be able to save years of hard work. We might be able to actually create success in our personal lives. We might be able to avoid the pain of uncertainty or the fear of failure altogether. We might be able to conquer our fears from within. By the way that we're going to define success here will be more on the monetary or career success of someone. Yes, it's not the only way that someone can have success, but it's a pretty good way for us to say, oh, hey, look, billionaires are pretty successful. So just keep this in mind. Okay, so let's start simple. What does science tell us that the number one predictor of success is? Well, if we Google this out, the number one thing that pops up is intelligence. Intelligence is probably one of the best predictors of success, according to science. And this makes a lot of sense. People like Elon, Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, all of them are pretty intelligent and pretty successful. For example, Elon Musk IQ is estimated to be around 150 IQ points. And again, if we take a look at Steve Jobs, who is also a pretty successful person, he has an IQ of 160. In fact, it's estimated that the average billionaire in the US has an IQ of 148 points, or 2.9 standard deviations from the norm, which is around 100. Okay, this is all starting to make sense, but there's still one problem with all of this. Or should I say, a problem for the average intelligent person. You see, we can't really control our intelligence very much. Like, yes, there has been some research that you can enhance your intelligence, but that only brings your, let's say, average intelligence from 100 points to all the way to 115. That is something that still dims in comparison to the average of 148. Because of this trait and its limits, there's something that, well, we just can't really do anything about, and the best we can do is just try to enhance it. It's almost as if you're either born with it or you're not. It really all is a matter of luck. So for the purpose that we're trying to make this research our video, well, that's not really gonna work out for us because, well, we can't control it. What we want is something that we can control in order to increase our chances of becoming successful. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please leave a like, as it's going to show that this video is a pretty decent video that can be spread to more people. Thank you very much. Okay, but another thing that's wrong with intelligence is that even if you have it, it doesn't predict success 100% of the time. If you look at people that are scientists, mathematicians, artists, and things of that nature, you see that they're probably the ones that have some of the highest IQ in the population. However, we still don't remember them either in history or out of common knowledge, and their wealth probably doesn't exceed that of these major CEOs that we decided that are the definition of success. So although intelligence is a good predictor, it's not everything that has to go into being successful. Okay, fair enough. You might ask, if it's not intelligence, then what is it? Well, again, if we do some research, some Googling and all of this, we see that the second predictor or second major predictor of success is conscientiousness. And what conscientiousness means is how industrious or hardworking you are with your given project, duty, and things of your profession. Now, the good news is that you actually see this in Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. They all work a great deal of hours. Another great thing about conscientiousness is that you can actually increase it to a higher degree than you could intelligence. And you can do this with practice and constant repetition. And yes, it might take a bit of time, but you can go from being laid back to wanting to work all the time, something that we of course want in order to be successful. And at this point, you can already start to see that this is true. For most people, and including billionaires like Elon, Bezos, and all of them, if they work hard, they're going to get great rewards in their life or success. But of course, there's more to this than it seems, because of course, life is complicated. You see, there are people who work a lot as well. For example, construction workers or bricklayers. And if you ask me, probably none of them are at the same level of wealth that of Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and all of the great CEOs. So it does kind of have to go back to luck. You see, all these billionaires are pretty hardworking, but they're also pretty lucky. They were born with having the blessing of a great intelligence. They were lucky that they were presented with the right opportunities, and even more, they were at the right time, at the right place. So in the end, the idea of success comes down to being lucky and as well hardworking. You have to have both of them. However, if you ask me, this is still a bit depressing. For example, if someone is putting in their work, someone is putting in their hours, and they really want to be successful because that's their dream and ambition, well, it's kind of sucks telling them that, well, it does kind of have to do with luck separately from the work that they're already doing. So what I concluded from this research is that perhaps, maybe, we're not defining success with the right terms. You see, according to our definition of success, it's always about being better than someone else. It's always about being the winner. But if you take a quick look at winners and losers, where there's losers, there's a winner, but where there's a winner, there's always losers. And where there's light, there's shadows. It's just the way that it is, and by the way, shout out to my boy Madara. And yes, we all have limits, we have certain luck, we have certain privileges and disadvantages. So perhaps it's not about being better than someone else that defines success, but rather being the best that you can be. You with the given limits, with the given gifts, with the given disadvantages and blessings. I mean, you have to think about it. There's always going to be a bigger fish. Why try to determine success on something that you or I or anyone can really control? You might not be the tallest, the smartest, the best looking, or the best out of anything, but being the best out of anything inherently doesn't mean that you can't reach success. That's because you can decide to make the best out of the things that were handed to you. It doesn't always mean you'll get the best results, but you are going to make the best out of what you had. So I hope you liked this video, and if you want to know more about productivity, you should definitely check this video out. By the way, Improvement Gang, I'll see you on the next one. Stay sharp.